So we're now kind of going to get into kind of the grading and assessment portion of this training. So I'm just going to get into the Gradebook so we can see what that looks like. So when I click on grades as an instructor, I see kind of the whole gradebook as a whole. All of my students are here, you know, and I can see everyone's scores. If I was a student in here and I clicked on grades, I would just see an itemized list of all of the assignments and then the scores for myself for each of those assignments. As a student, obviously, you would never be able to see any other students' scores. Okay, so I clicked on grades and now I'm in the gradebook. All of my students are listed over here on the left-hand side. Each assignment shell or quiz or discussion, anything that's graded, will automatically have a column created. So unlike maybe what you're doing now where you can right-click on the in the gradebook to create a new column. In Canvas, you can't do that. You have to have something created, whether that's an assignment shell or something that's graded in the class, that will actually create the column in the gradebook. So say, for example, maybe if I'm a face-to-face teacher and I give a pop quiz in class, my students will take, you know, the pop quiz on paper, I'll collect it on paper, grade it on paper, but if I'm wanting to distribute the grades in Canvas, what I would probably do is create an assignment shell named pop quiz, and it will populate a new column in the gradebook. Then I can just come in here, click on the cell, and say, you know, just type on my keyboard what the student received. And I'm just typing in a number and selecting enter, and it just kind of goes down the column in which I can, you know, easily add those scores. So, you know, we're seeing a lot of different things here, a lot of different colors and icons and stuff. The reddish icon means that the student turned in that assignment late. So there was a due date and the student was able to access that assignment after it, and they submitted the paper after that due date. So that's what that red cell is. If you see a goldish, yellowish cell, actually I don't have an example unfortunately right now, but if you see that goldish, yellowish cell, that means that the student actually submitted their assignment more than once. So they resubmitted the assignment. Students have the ability to resubmit up until the due date. So when we get into the Speedgrader and we see the actual assignments that the student submitted, if a student submitted an assignment more than once, there would actually be a drop-down menu in which you could select which assignment you wanted to see. So another thing that we're seeing is this grayed out cell. That means that we have set a rule in our assignment groups saying that we wanted to drop the lowest score. So these scores are not accounting for their total score. This is being dropped out of the gradebook. Some other things are these little speech bubble icons. That means that a discussion has been submitted that has not been graded. So that's kind of my flag to know I have to go in there and grade it. If I scroll over to the right, you can see I have this paper icon. That means a file upload was submitted and has not been graded. Once I've graded something, it'll automatically just display that grade. Some things to note on the gradebook while we're here, you know, if you hover your mouse over the title of the assignment, you can get this drop-down menu. It's kind of like a circle with a triangle in it. You know, we're going to be able to utilize that in just a second. And then there's this main gear icon that, you know, has some additional options there for you. So I'm going to actually utilize that drop-down menu in the actual title of the assignment. The first option will get us back to the assignment itself if we wanted to see those assignment details. I'm going to skip over that because we kind of already talked about it, but I'm going to click on the Speedgrader now. So I'm going to click on the Speedgrader and it'll open up the place in which we can view our student submissions, and we can annotate right on it and you know, grade the paper here. So sometimes, you know, in old learning management systems, you have to kind of download all of the student submissions and then open them up in Word and kind of annotate on them and then save them and re-upload them back to the student. Well, in Canvas, everything's previewable. So you can see here, this is the student submission that they turned in. I can just go down and read the whole thing. I can also annotate right on it by utilizing this comment area right here. So if I select comment, I have the ability to do a point comment. So I can say, or maybe I want an area comment in here. I can just utilize this really easily. I'm sure your comments will be much more riveting, and it's nice because students will have this same exact view. So they'll be able to come in here, see exactly what you annotated on this page, and they actually can hover their mouse over these comments, and they can reply to them as well. So maybe if they need, more help on this, or they want, further explanation, something like that, they can click on reply, they can type their reply in, and you as the instructor will receive a message with a URL linking you back to this page, so you don't have to remember what you said on anyone's paper. You can just utilize that link and it'll take you right back to the page and see what you said, see what the student said, and reply back to them, which is kind of cool. I also have the ability to draw right on the page if I want. So if you're wanting to utilize your standard things, I'm using a trackpad, so it kind of looks ugly, but if you have an iPad, there's actually a Speedgrader app, and you can use your finger to actually annotate on it and do some kind of cool stuff. You can strike out and write text right in it as well. So if you remember back to when we were in the assignment, when we attached a rubric to the assignment, I actually have the ability to utilize that rubric for grading. Yeah, so Kelly just said that the annotation is only available if you have the student upload a file for the assignment, and that's totally correct. So any file submission that you would be able, that the student would be able to upload, you would be able to annotate it. But say that text entry or the media comment, that stuff, you would not be able to annotate on it. Thanks for pointing that out. Okay, so like I was saying, back to the rubric, if you've created a rubric on your assignment and if you utilized it for grading, you actually have the ability to view that rubric right on this page. So I can view that rubric and it'll come up for us. All of the criteria will be there. Now I can literally just click on the ratings to award the points I want for students. So I can go down the list and just click, 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 click. It'll automatically add those point values up, and I can save it. And when I do save that, the score will be updated here. It will automatically be updated in the gradebook, and the student will actually receive a message saying that, the score has been inputted and your teacher has utilized a rubric for grading and they've annotated it on the page. Click here to view it, and they'd be able to click here and they'd be able to see your annotations. They'd be able to see this rubric showing them the marks that you selected. And, everything will be right there for them. So that's awesome, right? Okay, so if I scroll down on this right-hand side, I can actually add overall comments if I want to. I can do that very easily right here. I could actually, again, add a media comment. So if I'm wanting to turn my webcam or microphone on, I could do that and then submit that. Pretty cool. Again, if a student submitted more than one paper, there would be a drop-down menu up here in which you could select the paper. Also, if you're using Turnitin, the Turnitin score would populate right here. You'd be able to click on that percentage score and it would open up Turnitin, and it would show you as the instructor, like what they're finding or, what's being flagged. Also in the gradebook, back to this, the cells, those cells, they would actually change color corresponding to the Turnitin colors. So I think like blue is totally fine, green is all right, yellow is, getting worse, all of those colors. The cell of the student under that assignment would actually change as well. Cool. Okay, so I'm just going to go back into the gradebook now. I'm going to click on Gradebook kind of up at the upper left-hand side, and I'll open up the gradebook for us again. Just to go over some of those other options that we have, something that's really kind of cool, under that same drop-down menu in the assignment, you have the ability to message a certain group of students, so it's that message students who. I have the ability to have Canvas kind of collect, like I said, that certain group of students, whether that's students that haven't submitted yet, haven't been graded yet, scored than a certain amount or scored more than a certain amount. So maybe, you know, a few of my students just like bombed this assignment and I'm wanting to message them saying, you know, like, you need to come see me in my office hours. I could easily click scored less than, put a point value in there. So maybe if they scored less than 9, the students who scored less than 9 will automatically populate on this list. And now I can type out a message to them saying, you know, like, you need to come see me in my office hours. And I can send that to them and it'll automatically send in their Canvas inbox. So it's nice you don't have to go into the inbox and, you know, have the gradebook open and find the student in the inbox. Canvas does all that work for you. So it's really kind of nice. Maybe, you know, you're just taking a long time to grade. You could do haven't been graded yet and say, sorry, I'm on vacation on the beach, you'll get your scores in a week. You know, whatever it is, it's really easy to, you know, message those targeted students. So again, I got to that by clicking on that drop-down menu and clicking on Message Student 2. I can set a default grade. Maybe if everyone got the same grade, I can just type that in there. I can curve the grades here. I can download the submissions, maybe if I'm working offline if I want to. And I can actually mute the assignment. Muting the assignment is kind of cool because it allows you to mute the assignment, get in and grade all of your students' assignments, and then you can unmute the assignment, and all of your student scores will be distributed at one time. So rather than, you know, having Natalie get her score before Alex, you know, you can mute the assignment, get in there, grade everything, and then unmute it, and everyone will receive their scores at the same time. You can download and upload your gradebook here. So maybe if you're working offline, you definitely can utilize that. You can also utilize this gear icon here to do a few different things. One thing that I kind of show is this notes column. If you have that displayed, this notes column will appear right next to the student's name, and you can kind of type in whatever you want. Maybe if you're kind of wanting to keep track of how many times a student came to your office hours, you can utilize this. Only you as the instructor will be able to see it. Students will not have access to view anything that you type in that column. Okay, cool. So kind of the last thing that we're going to talk about today are course level settings. So I'm just going to get back into the course.